Welcome back to 10 Cents Podcast. I'm your host, Robbie, and I'm sitting in the King of Motorsports studio, and across from me is my co-host, Adam Nielsen, and we are back.
Yes.
It was supposed to be very exciting weekend. We had all the sorts of plans.
Yes.
Which is why we couldn't do a show last weekend.
Yes.
Or last week. Just putting it out there. I had plans to go to the Indy 500.
Uh-huh.
I had potential plans to go to Gridlife as either a spectator. I knew going to Indy 500 meant I was not going to have time to work on my car, which meant I would not be going to Gridlife as a driver.
Right.
Or if I did, it would simply be just to shake down the car, which would probably mean just HPD or whatever. Or mid-if TT was at Ozarks, which I wanted to do, but I also don't want to shake down a car at Ozarks.
No.
For obvious reasons.
Right.
You know, I want to keep my car.
Word.
And having my ABS fail because I installed it wrong at Ozarks sounded like a really fucking awful idea. So that was lowest on the priority list. Mm-hmm. But there was an unexpected death in my family. I didn't get to do any of that.
No.
Dropped the dogs off. Didn't even make it home. Like, dropped them at the boarding place. Driving back to my place like 20 minutes. Didn't even make it home before I got a phone call saying there's been an accident. And I will just leave it at that. So, yeah, just can't. Everything got canceled for the next like 2 weeks. So, it was very unexpected, very sad, very awful.
We missed you. I had a bunch of people like, is Robbie coming? Like, nah, he had some stuff.
Nope, wanted to be there. But yeah, just, it didn't work. And I mean, the Gridlife weekend, I was at home, but like I'd been gone all week. Like I got home just in time to work Friday, just because I didn't want to have a full week of stuff to come back to, and just did stuff around the house just to catch up.
I kind of wondered in my head, like maybe he'll decide, like, fuck it, let's pack up and get the hell out of here. We need a distraction.
That was for sure on my mind.
Yeah.
It just didn't work.
But then also there's people.
Yep, there's all
people suck.
People, yeah. So, yeah, just came home, had a real quiet weekend at home, basically decompressing over. All, I'm not going to get into it because it's not really my place.
Right.
But yeah, so
let's talk about.
Yeah, I
did some.
You did fun
stuff. Let's talk about that instead.
I would much rather hear about that.
Yes.
As would all the listeners.
Let's get on our car island here and let's talk about cars.
Yep. I need to be in my little bubble that pretends nothing else.
Right.
Nothing bad has ever happened.
The world is great.
Yep. Happy
Other
times.
than the fact that my cars are always broken and they always need things.
Oh, yeah. It's not happy here either.
No, it's really not. It's really not. But it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
I had two great weekends in a row of car-filled misadventures.
I like it. I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
Because that means I get to live vicariously through that.
Right. So, first of all, 2 weekends ago now, 3 when this comes out, I guess, we finally got Dad's drag car down the racetrack.
Ooh.
So, he has a couple of different drag strip options nearby him. One of them in Osborne, Missouri, is almost literally across the street from the place that he works at.
Oh, that's convenient.
Like almost literally.
Like
you can see them from each other.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's very nice. So it's the guy that owns the place, there's a dirt oval and a drag strip. And Friday nights are dirt ovals, Saturday nights are drag strips. That's just what they do there.
There's like a big dirt oval. Like I
didn't even go down. It's at like the far end of the drag strip.
Okay.
So I didn't make it down that far. So
is this the I-35?
No, US 36 Raceway or something like that.
Yep.
It's about probably not halfway between St. Joseph and Cameron.
Okay.
Which is, local stuff nobody understands. It's fine.
St. Joseph, Missouri.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Cameron, Missouri. North of Kansas City. Yeah. About 45 minutes.
Between Kansas City and Des Moines.
Right. So, having never been there, I didn't know really. Well, I've been to the racetrack because Dad and I went my dad and I went last year sometime just to kind of feel it out, check it out, see what like an average Saturday night was. We just went as spectators.
Oh, yeah, okay. With not just like an empty track. You went there during an event.
Right. We went as just spectators just to kind of get a feel for, like, is this Is this a place we want to go, or
is this the crowd we want to be a part of?
Right. Is this sketchy in a bad way, or is it like ma and pa in a good way? Because it's a very tiny track. I don't even know that it's like a sanctioned official like NHRA, IHRA track. It might be. I'm not sure. But we just kind of went, and it was a good time. Good racing, reasonable facilities. It's a nice place.
Yeah.
Like for
It's good for what it is.
For a $40 entry fee, it ain't bad.
Perfect.
It's really upsetting, honestly, Robbie.
When you pay $40 to get in,
$40 to race for the car. That wasn't spectating. That shit's cray.
Yeah, when you pay $40 and it's not perfect, that's okay.
Yeah.
When you spend $1,000 and it's not perfect, then you kind of start to complain a little bit.
So it's I would put it on it's kind of like on the scale of road courses.
Okay.
Like, RPM's probably towards the bottom.
Fair.
And this is like a mid-level club track, more of like a Gingerman.
Okay.
Whereas like Road America would be like Topeka's drag strip. It's a world-class facility.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that's fair.
So I would call this a Gingerman of drag tracks.
Yeah, it's good.
It's
not perfect.
Kind of nail
good.
It down. Yeah, it's fine.
It's good.
It's good for a weekend.
Yeah. You enjoy yourself there and you don't really think anything of it.
Yeah. It's fine. They have a trough to pee in. Literally.
That's better than Gingerman.
It's one of well, no, I wouldn't say that. Gingerman's
worse.
I'll
say it's worse than Gingerman.
Yeah. They had like a 4-foot long trough in there.
Yeah.
So I went in there like 2 or 3. We're going to talk about this because I think it's funny.
That's fine. It's our
I went in there
podcast.
to pee like twice, right? And then I went in there with my kid, and I realized if I'd have just turned around, there's 2 urinals on the wall on the other side of the room. And I was like, damn it.
There's only a trough here.
Yeah. Because that's not out of the ordinary for drag strips.
Or
old school baseball.
Yeah, baseball diamonds.
Absolutely.
Even newer football arenas at
really?
Like stadiums. I don't think Iowa State does, but something like
really?
A college stadium.
I guess I assumed that we kind of left that in the past.
Because if it's like an outdoor facility, it's just open to the air.
Okay.
And you have 60,000 people in there, you want them in and out as fast as you possibly
sure,
can.
but I figured there'd just be like a line of urinals.
No, you just have one big trough, and then you can fit just everyone nestle in there real close, touch shoulders,
shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
Hey man, nice watch.
Yeah, exactly. Have we told that story on here?
I don't have any idea. I don't think so.
Okay, so a fun game for when you've had a few drinks at the bar is when you're at the urinal, turn to the stranger next to you and just go, "Hey man, nice watch." If they're fun, they'll laugh. If they're drunk and belligerent, you'll get in a fight.
You might get punched. Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Usually, you do it to a friend.
Yeah.
While there's other people that don't know you in the other stalls or in the bathroom, so you walk up to your buddy and say, "What's up, bro? Nice watch." Everyone else like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, but
it's a Bulova.
That's a nice watch. Nice-ish watch.
It's just a word I remember from.
I like my Bulovas
from Mr. Beck. Rest in peace.
Yep. He didn't. Bulovas weren't good enough for him. No,
that's fair.
I like the Bulovas.
He had a couple of cheap
Timex, I think.
Timex, that's what I was going to say. Casio, but it wasn't Casio.
I think he had a Casio.
I think Casio was the thing he gave me.
Yes,
that was his gym watch.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, so we were at Court Avenue downtown Des Moines, back before people got shot every weekend.
Right.
So back when it was fun, and
that's fair.
I had one of the friends from college was properly drunk. And he did the "Hey man, nice watch" to a complete fucking stranger with none of his friends were in the bathroom with him. We had to separate them because he was about to get killed.
Yeah,
that dude was mad. He's like, "I'm not wearing a fucking watch." He couldn't comprehend it was a joke. He's like, "No man, nice watch," and couldn't put it together that he was being fucked with. He's like, "I'm not wearing one." He was so mad. So hey man, nice watch. So we're talking about troughs. Yeah,
anyway,
troughs.
Drag strips.
Yes.
Drag racing things. So this is bracket racing. So I guess a couple of things. Dad changed. So when he bought it, it was alcohol.
Yes.
Running. It ran on alcohol. He changed that because he's never ran on alcohol, and you have to change your oil every weekend, and a bunch of like obnoxious
like a lot of
stuff
work
that he didn't really care about, and it's maybe good for a few tenths or maybe a half second, and this is bracket racing, and it didn't really make any sense. So he sold that off, bought a regular gas carburetor. What's really frustrating to me, and this is like old man things that like just drives me nuts. He bought the carburetor from a friend. It's a used carburetor.
Okay.
Didn't check it over, didn't see what jets are in it, didn't do any sort of tuning, just put it on the car and took it to the racetrack.
That seems like our friends, yeah.
It's kind of I'm like, Dad, like you didn't check anything. Like, you don't know. You can be running lean as hell. You can be running super rich. Like, you don't even know.
He's got a screwdriver. He can fix that. Is that what he said?
No.
Oh.
I was like, do you even have a jet kit? No, I should probably get one. Like, yeah. Let's tune this thing in. Let's go super fast.
Yeah. Did it run good though?
Yeah, it ran great, which is kind of frustrating, honestly.
Just slapped it on there. It's like, see, it's fine.
So then the other thing is he kind of rewired the whole thing because it was kind of a rat's nest. Yeah. And then the air shift, it had like an air shifter thing in it, which was basically just like a CO2 driven piston that just kicked the shifter forward.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like when I think of drag racing air shifter, I think of, like the Lenco air shifted like things, right?
Oh yeah.
No, that's not what this was. It just it was tied to the 7AL that's in the car, the ignition control module in the car. And when it reaches a certain RPM, it shifts.
Oh, okay.
That way you don't have to do it.
Gotcha. Oh, so it's like taking a manual transmission and making it automatic.
It's an automatic transmission that. So it's a power glide. It's a 2-speed power glide.
Okay.
He shifts it from low to high, if you will, from 1 to 2.
Yep.
And then this thing would like do it for you.
Okay. Yeah, drag racing things that I'm not in on.
It is what it is. So he took that out because the class he's running in doesn't allow some of those things. He took out some of the other electronics that he wasn't planning on using anyway. Like I think it had what they call a stutter box, which I think is a travesty, and anyone who uses it should be shamed.
What is it?
Basically, so you're bracket racing, right? So you want to go a certain elapsed time down the racetrack.
Yep.
And so a lot of times these guys they'll have like their race on what they call an index, which is like, so like everyone says, I'm going to run 590s. Okay. That's the class index. Everybody's goal is to run a 590. And so these people show up with a car that will run, say, a 575 consistently.
Right.
And then they put this stutter box in there, and the car launches really hard and rolls out like 60 foot, and it goes, and then it takes off again.
Aw. So then now it takes a 575
and makes it a 590.
Shame.
It's the worst, Robbie. I hate it.
Is this a nanny that you and I can agree on?
Absolutely,
All right.
because
all right.
It totally ruins the viewing experience of the race.
Yeah, that's
because the car rolls out real hard.
Yeah.
It gets like partway down the track, like maybe 100 foot out, and then it goes, nah, bro, I'm going to hang out here for couple tenths of a second, and then it takes off again.
And I assume you can totally adjust it to be like,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
No, I don't like that at all either. So he's running in a class that doesn't allow all of those fancy electronics.
Makes sense. Proper race car.
I mean, there's still some electronics in it.
I assume there's some.
So, yeah. So we get there. You run 2 or 3 time trials, which you just kind of go out there and
kind of set where you're
see how the car is going to go that night. The first one, his button for his trans brake is apparently real picky.
Oh.
And he accidentally let it go. He still had his thumb on
you
it.
You sit and hold it until
you sit there and hold it.
And then you let go of it as you're...
Yeah, and the car takes off.
Oh, I gotcha.
And the lights started coming down, and the button said, nah, screw you, and the car took off.
Shit.
And so it wasn't quite up on the converter, so it didn't launch as hard as it could. Yep. And he red lit really bad.
Yep.
So that was kind of a wash.
Of course.
But then the next time trial, everything went well. The car kind of rolled out and like just squats and almost like jumped to the side a little bit.
Okay.
Like it hooked
real
good. And he ran like a 1-2 something 60 foot, which is pretty impressive.
That's moving.
It's pretty impressive for what this thing is and the times it does. And pretty consistently ran 6.0s, 6.04, 6.05, 6.09, something like that. Which is a decent bit quicker than it was when he sold it.
Okay.
Which is cool.
That's fun.
We got into so you do your time trials and then you do what they call elimination rounds. So you just get bracketed.
Yep.
And it's literally like, it's not an organized bracket. It's just, they call your class up. Everybody comes up. You're like, okay, well, you're next to that guy. So you're going to race him.
Okay.
Because it's not like who gets to the finish line first.
Right.
Or, there's not like a number one qualifier or anything like that. It's just, okay, well, you ran closer to the time you guessed than he did, so you move on and he doesn't.
Okay.
And so my dad lined up next to some guy. I think if I remember right, my dad didn't do a great light.
Okay.
Cut a great light at the beginning, but ran a pretty good race. And so I think he was closer to his dial in, but because of his bad light, the other guy technically crossed the line first, even though he was farther away from his dial-in, so he still wins.
Okay.
Because in a perfect world, if you both leave at the exact same time and you both run your exact same dial-in, you'll cross the finish line at the exact same time.
Right.
So, so my dad is out first round, which is kind of the story of him and I's drag racing career.
Happens.
The nice thing they do what they call consolation rounds, where you can buy back in.
Yep.
And then sometimes,
that's how they get you.
Well, depending on what track you go to, and I think this has as much to do with class size as anything. Generally speaking, they'll have the guys who are still continuing through, and then they'll have consolation rounds, and you just race. You just race other people who lost and bought back in.
Yep.
But this one, they actually dump you back into the main bracket if you buy back in.
Oh, kind of like a poker tournament.
Yeah.
Well, not like World Series poker, but
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all in all, the car ran well. It ran pretty consistently, barring that first one where we didn't have the perfect launch and stuff like that. But it ran consistently. It runs really well. It sounds good. It was a fun night. Everything went well. The car came home not broken.
Perfect.
It seems ready to go.
Was it always that low?
Yeah.
Okay. It just seems, I don't know if it's just a shadow making it look lower, but it just seems like
it's very low because it's a tube frame car with a body just attached to it.
It looks damn good.
So you can drop that body as low as you want without messing up suspension geometries and stuff like that, like you would with a normal unibody car as we think of them. You can do whatever you want with it, and it doesn't mess up suspension geometry because it's kind of like body dropping a tube on or a body on frame car.
Right.
It just sits down over the chassis and
that looks good.
So
real good.
Yeah. There's no front bumper on it, which he wants to fix. The guy took it off.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He had when we had the car the first time, he found a fiberglass bumper somewhere along the way, because old school bumpers are heavy,
right?
Because they were the crash structure.
Yep.
What we think of as bumpers today, those are bumper covers.
Yeah.
This is actually the bumper.
Okay.
Back in the day, right?
Yeah.
And so
big stainless steel.
Right. They're super heavy. They're shockingly heavy.
Yep.
And so obviously that's in a really bad place out in front of the front wheels. That's not where you want that weight.
Nope.
Especially when he's worked so hard to pull that motor as far back as it is and stuff like that, And so he found a fiberglass bumper somewhere along the way, but it doesn't fit very nicely on the car.
Yeah.
And he sold it he gave it with the car when we sold it, and it came back still not installed.
Okay. At least he still got it.
But so apparently, if I remember right, it's like 3/4 of an inch or an inch too wide. And he just needs to cut it in the center and narrow it up and fiberglass it back together.
That's not so bad, but it is a decent
But
amount
20
of work.
years ago, that seemed like a crazy thing to do.
Oh, really?
But like now, fiberglass isn't that big a deal anymore.
No.
So I think we're gonna try and fix that, and because it looks way better with a bumper on it. It looks silly without a bumper.
Yeah.
So it's missing a few chrome trim pieces too that we need to try and find.
Which I'm sure will be kind of a challenge.
But yeah, so he got the hood painted.
Looks good.
That is the fiberglass hood that he sold. His paint guy was like really not happy about it. He's like, it just doesn't match. It doesn't look right.
And you guys are like,
and my dad and I are standing there looking at it like, I don't see it. Looks fine to me.
No, after working in the body shop, not so much anymore. I think my eye kind of got trained in the other direction now that I don't do it all the time. But like when you're in the body shop,
oh, I'm sure
half a shade difference is like
the guy who my dad had painted. He's very, very particular about it.
He's very good.
He's doing restorations, not
he's not
slam him in there and get him back out.
Right.
Body work. He's doing restorations, and so
he's a bit of a perfectionist.
Right. So he takes his time and he does a really good job, and that's great in most situations. But that's really not what Dad was going for here. And so, I don't know. I doubt we're going to do anything else with it. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean. Once it's a race car, if it's,
at least it's not.
It's got to look good in pictures. Like
at least it's not primer gray anymore,
right?
You know?
I'd say no one's going to be able to tell the difference in that if it's not perfect, because the picture is going to be from a distance, and that's all that matters.
I mean, a bunch of people came and looked at the car and said, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool," and stuff like that. And so it was fun. It was a very surreal moment to see it go down the track again.
Right.
That was
how many years has it been? Decade?
Almost two. Almost two, at least. When I picked up drag racing and started running the junior, there were a few events that Dad would still bring this with.
Okay.
But then when we bought the second car and I moved into that and my sister moved into the first one, that car basically got mothballed.
Okay.
Because it was just way too much work to try and run two juniors and a full-size car on the same weekend.
Yeah.
It was just way too much work. And, we were there as much as a family function as it was my dad racing. Right. And so, the junior dragsters became more important. And so that car kind of got mothballed. And, I don't remember if it sat for a year or two before he sold it or if he used it one last time and then let it go. I don't remember for sure. But yeah, I remember it sitting up. We had a garage area up at the top of the hill on the acreage we lived in. And I remember it sat up there for a while, just kind of existing. So, and I guess the guy that sold it to us, he hadn't used it in 3 to 5 years at least either.
Okay.
And he was working on building a new car.
Right. So this was just gonna.
So it was very surreal to see it go down the track again. So, I was probably 14 or 15 years old the last time that I saw it.
Yep.
Make a pass.
I'll say you were standing right behind it, taking video, sending it to the group chat. You were giddy.
Oh, dude, I haven't been that excited about something in a long, long, long time.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm capable of being excited about things like that. Like that much excitement about anything.
Oh, it was so good, Robbie. It was so much fun.
Did you drive it?
No,
nothing.
No,
nothing.
I would like to make a pass or two in it. Now this time of year, they don't really do. So I guess every Wednesday night they do test and tunes, which doesn't work for me.
No, you're kind of far away.
Yeah.
To be driving down on a Wednesday.
Right. And so like a Saturday test and tune isn't really a thing now that the season's in full swing.
Right.
So I'll either have to find some other place to take it or wait till next year or, I don't know, take a Wednesday off or something like that. But I would like to make a pass in it, at some point.
That'd be awesome.
So
I want to see how giddy you are.
I think it's going to scare the pants off of me.
But even doing it, at a safe speed, that you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
It would still be a blast.
I think I'm going to get into it, go, holy fuck, and lift, and then kind of roll back into it. I think is probably what will end up happening.
Yeah, I assumed it wouldn't be like a proper launch.
No. So, I think with a little more fine tuning, maybe some jet work in the carburetor.
What do you need that for?
Maybe some suspension tuning a little bit here and there. I think that car has consistent, like, high 5-second, 8th mile passes in it, which is
fun.
Which is impressive. It's pretty.
That's quick.
It's not, for what it is. It's not slow. It's kind of fun. It's a good time. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
it was fun.
It looked like a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. So it looks like a more serious machine than a lot of the things that my dad was racing against. Okay. So a lot of the cars that are there are just kind of ragtag,
just cars
or they're street cars.
Okay.
So
it wasn't like the most serious,
or they're like more like no prep style.
Okay.
There were a bunch of those there. But yeah, the racetrack's more of a ragtag group of
just a bunch of people in Ford Focuses.
Yeah. Yeah, there were some kids there in a Ford Focus, the next generation from the one I sold you.
Yep.
I was actually really proud of these kids.
Okay.
Because they looked like they were probably high schoolers.
Yep, they look pretty young.
And this was a bone stock Ford Focus. Like, I don't even think it had a cold air intake on it. Or a hot air intake, as most of them are.
Right.
But, like, I think it was a bone stock Focus. But these kids are still out there, like, doing the thing, right?
Yep.
And like they could have gone anywhere that night and been up to any amount of mischievous bullshit or whatever, or they could have been sitting at home behind their TVs playing Xbox or whatever, but instead they took their Focus and they went and they had fun. And you know what? They put a car out. They went around at least. So awesome. There's like a, I don't know what their class name is, but there was like a daily driver, true street-ish class, right?
Yep.
Where it was this Ford Focus, a couple of douchebags in G37s with terrible exhaust notes.
Yep. Because they all do.
Yeah. VQ things. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. And then there was some lady in like a 5th gen Camaro SS.
Okay.
That looked bone stock. Just out there making runs,
yep.
And they were racing against each other. That was some sort of class.
Okay.
Some sort of stock, true street class. And first round, they lined up against one of the G37s and won.
Nice.
So we didn't really stay long enough for me to see if they went any farther than that, but
saw them win one though.
I mean, that's cool.
Good for them.
I thought it was neat.
Yeah, that's why.
I'm proud of them. At first I laughed, and then I'm like, you know what?
Now that I think about it, it's
good for you guys.
Exactly.
We always talk about people, I've got to do this and that and this and that before I can take it to the racetrack or before I can take it to the autocross course or whatever. And like, these kids just showed up with their Ford Focus.
Whatever they got, man.
And on all seasons, and they went out and they made passes, and they had way more fun than everybody else sitting at home trying to build their fast car.
Right.
So.
And now they're hooked, and they'll never be let go.
Yeah, probably not. But kudos to them.
Yeah, good for them.
That was cool. I enjoyed that. So he's going racing again this weekend. I'm not going with him this weekend. And then I don't know when I'm going to go back. He wants me to go with him in September to a race that's an all Pontiac race.
Okay.
He's been kind of reacquainting himself with some of the old
like the guys
Pontiac drag racer buddies from when we were living in Kansas.
Okay.
And I was 4, right?
Are any of them still doing it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, some of them are going to be at this race. And they were like, are you going? Like, yeah, I think I'm going. And a couple of them like, is Adam coming? Is your son coming with you? I mean, I don't know. I haven't really talked to him about it yet. So apparently my presence has been requested on a non-podcast basis,
they're like, we need the international voice of.
No, that's not what they're after. They probably have no idea that that's
this is far,
podcast even exists.
This is far-reaching. They know.
No, they're boomers.
Nah, boomers listen.
Or
they
older.
know. Definitely older.
Even.
They listen.
So
I'm always shocked at how many people listen.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Just bumping into family members I haven't met or seen in years. Like, oh yeah, I was listening to your podcast. No. Don't do that.
Right. Apparently, a couple of people I work with listen. I'm like, what? No, don't do that.
I have multiple coworkers. Yep.
I talk shit about you guys. You can't be listening to this.
Yeah, when I'm bashing that coworker.
Yeah.
I don't want you to realize it's you. No.
Yeah. So.
No.
But it was fun. I enjoyed it. I can't wait to go again.
No,
Drag racing makes some sense in the fact that it, literally costs $40 to enter the car.
Yep. Is there purses, like money?
I don't know.
Okay. It's more likely to have purses.
But even if it doesn't, who cares?
No,
it's $40.
Man, if I could go out and test and tune for $40, I would do it all the time.
Could you imagine if you could go on a Wednesday night?
Yeah.
And just take the car out to the track
down laps
and pay $40 for test and tune and just loop it.
Yep.
All night.
Yep.
We wouldn't do this podcast.
No. Well, Dusty kind of made it sound like Track Night in America is pretty close to that.
Kind of, yeah.
He's pretty pumped about it.
That's essentially what Track Night in America is.
Yeah, just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I haven't made it to one of those. I've watched one because they'll do it on like a Thursday night before we do, Friday night before we'll do like a mid-TT TT event. So
but usually at Heartland Park. Those are still, I think, 20-minute sessions and stuff like that. So
it's not open lapping,
right? Could you imagine though?
Just free for all.
Even 20-minute sessions. You get 2 or 3 20-minute sessions for $40. $40, Robbie.
Oh, I'd do it all day. What are you doing this weekend? We're just doing $40 test and tunes.
Yeah.
You don't want to go? No. Fuck no.
No.
You can spend my whole budget for track nights in one weekend. I'll just be on these track nights the whole summer. I'll do it until I'm sick of it.
That's what we would be doing if we were smart and were circle track racing, Robbie.
Yep. But we're not.
If you would have built a dirt track 350Z.
It's not too late.
That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be fun.
That'd be weird. I support that.
Maybe the next car could be that.
I don't know, man.
Let's turn the Focus into something stupid.
I mean, we can take that and do front wheel drive, dirt track racing with it.
All right.
I think you're going to want a manual.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. All right. Should we talk about other shenanigans?
Yes, I think so. We got lots of shenanigans. Remind everybody first that this drag racing opener was presented by Factor Fabrication. That is factorfabrication.com.
Factory fabrication?
It's not factory.
Factory fabrication?
I had so many people come up to me like, oh, I thought it was factory fabrication. I was like, do I really fuck it up that bad?
That's been a thing that people have been saying as long as we have been talking about Mr. Booney and his Factor Fabrication.
Factor Fabrication.
Factor. Space.
Yeah.
Space. Fabrication.
Factor Fab Racing. We were at Gridlife last year. Someone came up to me. I always thought it was factory. Really?
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, that's been a thing. It's fine.
No, Factor Fab. If you need to get caged or railed, custom tables, couple custom chairs, you need a sim rig made up. I don't know, man. I did just buy 2 new monitors to make a triple monitor setup. I'm probably gonna make it a 2x4s, but
we'll have to talk about that when you get it successful.
Yeah,
I kind of want to.
I'm doing it as cheaply as possible because, we'll figure it out, just for funsies. But yeah, if you need to build something like that, like if you're like I don't know, if you have an unsafe handrail on your deck,
Robbie,
Booney can hook you up.
If you wouldn't want your grandma to fall at your wedding.
I don't think they fell there. They fell in all the other wet areas because it was raining.
I distinctly remember Michael and I helping an elderly lady down those stairs and thinking, man, a handrail would be great.
No, we have 2 young men.
Maybe that was the highlight of our weekend.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. Maybe it was.
I'm a wingman for everybody. No handrails. Unless you do need a handrail, then Booney will hook you up. Or if you need a podcast table and you can't steal it from your ex-girlfriend, Booney will make one for you. Custom furniture, you got it. Don't use any codes because we don't have one. We're just helping our friend. FactoryFabrication.com. Adam.
Robbie.
It sounds like I haven't missed a Gridlife since 2016.
A festival.
I haven't missed a festival. I've missed plenty of Gridlifes.
Right.
I have not missed a Midwest festival since 2016. And it sounds like I picked the worst one.
You chose a bad year to miss.
I picked what was everyone's favorite year was the year I decided not to go. Which, you're welcome, everyone else.
That's fair.
So I was having a shitty week. You guys all had great weeks. I fell on that sword. All the karma went to you guys.
Yeah. So Wednesday morning, Josh Fettis picked me up in his camper truck thing. He's got a Duramax with a pickup camper on it.
Yeah. No pictures of it, by the way.
No, I didn't take any pictures of that, Robbie. It's fine. Picked me up on the way through, and I went there knowing that, or so Adam told me, I have a list of things you could do. I don't know what you're going to do, but you'll have a job when you get here.
Good enough.
Okay.
Yep. Adam needs help. Adam's going to help.
Yeah, so I didn't know.
Adams.
Josh is running the dyno at a number of the events this year for Gridlife. They now have a dyno on a trailer that Gridlife owns that is the official Gridlife dyno. If anyone is like, it's part of the impound process. If anybody's protested or possibly cheating or anything like that, this is the dyno you have to prove you're not cheating on. So obviously that means that there's a number of GLTC competitors who just want to put their car up there and make passes on it just to make sure they're within compliance with the one they're going to be checked on.
Yep.
So Josh is running that for a few events this year, and Mr. Ryan Seiler, is supposed to be his cohort running that. But then some jerk friend of his decided to get married this weekend instead.
Selfish.
Right?
It's almost as selfish as getting married in Iowa during an Iowa State football game.
That's true. So Ryan didn't make it.
Yep.
And so Jabay said, I might have you help Josh with the dyno. I might have you do timing and scoring. You might be in some capacity used on the live stream. I don't know what you're going to do. Show up. Sweet.
You're going to be there anyways.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wanted to make sure I had a purpose. I didn't want to take a bunch of time off of work and not have a purpose.
That's fair.
You know? So it's too expensive for me to just take time off and go hang out with no specific purpose.
Agenda.
No. Yeah. I don't like wandering through life with no purpose.
That's fair.
So I ended up running the dyno with Josh all weekend, which basically meant I didn't get to watch anything on track at all. Almost at all.
So the dyno obviously is not like in plain view of the track. So you're just like,
no, unfortunately we were set up in a place where people could get to us easily that wasn't going to disrupt the flow of traffic onto and off of the track.
Okay, so you're kind of like on that side road going to like general admission. You're kind of up over there.
Yeah, so we were
behind the hill.
As you come out of vendor row,
yep,
and you're headed towards the paddock, we were the first thing you saw. We were right there next to the bathrooms. So we were.
That's very conveniently located for dynoing.
Right. So we placed it there, or they placed it there with the hopes of it being kind of a spectator spectacle.
Which I'm sure it was.
You know, people are drawn like flies to dynos, you know.
I don't blame them. There's a reason that people spend good money to have like the glass window and all that stuff in front of their dynos now.
Yeah. Well, that and like dyno videos on YouTube are dumb popular.
Yep.
I've even gotten sucked into that trap of watching those.
Don't get me wrong.
You can't stop yourself, you know? And so it put in a place where that was kind of the transition from GA chaos into the race paddock area so that people could see it and it wasn't hidden away and it was relatively easy to get to for the drivers. And we were also open to run other people's cars. So we got a few cars that weren't specifically competitors. So the pricing went if you are a competitor,
yep,
it was $75 for up to 5 poles.
Okay.
If you are not a competitor, if you're just there, it was $100 for 3 poles.
Still fair.
Yeah, still like the cheapest.
I was going to say,
just get a dyno number you're probably going to find.
Yeah, I think off the line will do it that like if you just to get like classing numbers. Like if you just show up, strap down, and do a couple of runs.
Right.
Yeah, it's like $100.
Yeah, I think Josh said it. If you did that excessive, it's probably like 150 or something like that.
150 is pretty common.
So
too.
yeah, that seems reasonable.
It's still a reasonable price.
And then for those tryharders that are really into doing the thing, it was $175 an hour. And you could just
if someone's getting a proper tune.
Yeah, and that people took advantage of that. So
that's a fair rate. $175 an hour. That's
So you have to bring a tuner. Obviously, a bunch of people are like, "Oh, you guys tuning cars?" Like, no, buddy. Like,
I mean, you don't want me to.
If your goal is to blow up an engine,
I can help you.
I can help you with that. Like, I can push Paige up with the best of them. Like, let's do this, right? But if you want like a real tune, I'm not your guy.
No.
So
there's a reason I'd be the cheapest tune yet.
There were a bunch of people that were like really disappointed we weren't tuning. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, yeah, 3 poles for $100. You'll tune my car for $100? No.
No, poles.
No.
Josh gets in and puts his foot on the gas.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right. So for all of the non-competitors, Josh made the poles. For the competitors, if like Andy Smedgar doesn't need someone to run his dyno for him.
He's fully aware of what he's doing.
Made it. He's done it once or twice.
He knows how to put his 80% throttle.
I mean, hey, that's his decision. When you get impounded,
then Josh does it.
Well,
or Jabay does it, or somebody would do it.
Fuck it, I'll talk about it because I think they're going to change it anyway. There's not a very defined impound procedure in the GLTC rulebook, which I think they realize, like, oh shit, now we got this thing.
We should define this.
And I think one of the things that they definitely need to put in there is like the driver does not get to make the pulls.
Yeah, you can't do that.
So that's what they did this weekend because we didn't have a definition of it.
It's probably not a problem, but it's going to be a problem if you leave.
Well, I just don't think that. I mean,
it leaves the opportunity for there to be a problem,
right?
So if somebody does an 80% throttle tune. If you do it at 100%, and then it does 200 horsepower. But then when you go 80%, it goes 250 horsepower.
Right. It's just really hard to do that, though.
But people do it.
Allegedly. So it'd also be really hard to find that.
Fair. It would be.
Unless you could feel like a detent in the pedal or something like that. I mean, it'd be hard to figure that out as
I don't know anyone that's ever
back-to-back pulls.
Yeah, I don't actually know of anyone that's actually done it. I've just
heard of it.
You heard stories.
Right. Crazy things.
Yep.
So, but yeah, like if a competitor pulled up to just do some compliance checks, if they were just pulling up to check their car tune for the weekend, Josh would say, are you comfortable doing this? Or do you want me to get in and do it? We almost always had them pull the car onto the rig because
if they rip their bumper off, it's on them.
Well, and then like race clutches are dumb, and some people some
are more forgiving than others.
Yeah, like how to drive your car,
right? And
I'm not going to burn your clutch out. So it's just easier to let the drivers pull the car up on there.
Yep.
But for the common folk, we didn't. That was not an option given.
No, and the common folk are showing up with common cars,
right? So like we dynoed like you've got it pulled up here a CTSV, and it was like a mild bolt-on.
It's got decent power.
CTSV. It made 5 something. We did a C5 Z06 with a Pro Charger on it.
Okay.
And his bigger pulley, which means he has a party pulley.
Yep.
And that made like 630 or something like that, which was pretty cool.
That's pretty good numbers.
We did a GT500, your favorite car in the whole wide world.
From a noise level, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We did a GT500. A guy came up and he's like, yeah, I've got a GT500. He was the first person we did that wasn't a competitor.
Okay.
And so he's like, yeah, I've got a GT500.
Like he had no idea what the wheel was. He just. Or like, was he going for the high score?
He's like, I bought it modded.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, I just want to check. I just want to know if I was lied to. Is basically what he said.
Okay.
And we were like, okay, well, what's been done to it, and what did they tell you? And he kind of listed off a few things like ported blower and some other stuff, blah blah blah, right? And then he goes, they said it should make 900 to 1,000 horsepower, and I was like.
You might have got lied to, bro.
I was like, all right. Because that makes 750, I assume, crank from the factory. And he was pretty confident that they meant wheel.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, well.
Yeah, that's a good jump.
Yeah,
that's not insignificant.
And before he came, Josh was like, if any big power car shows up, I don't know if I can get it to hook.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's a thing on a dyno.
Yes.
And I guess at the shop, they'll put VHT on the roller.
Yep.
Like what they put down on a drag racing surface.
Yep.
So we told him flat out, we're like, we'll hook it up. We'll see if we can do pulls without it spinning. Yep. We'll find out. Turns out the way that dyno is set up to strap cars down is very, very well thought out. It's really, really good. And we had zero trouble with traction issues on any car we dynoed all weekend.
Awesome.
So we put that GT500 up there. And the one thing I kind of really wanted the whole weekend was like for someone to come in there, just big dick swinging.
And then just not be the number.
I've got
900.
This thing makes 750. And then like it makes
400.
425 to the wheels, right? Like that was my hopes and dreams for the whole week. I just wanted to see the look on that guy's face when it just like didn't make
not even close
to the power that his math said it should, right?
Yep.
And so we put it on there and made the pull. Everything went smooth. Car made 967 to the wheel, which is crazy.
That is a lot of power.
Yeah. So
a lot.
New high score. For sure.
Yep.
It was funny because up to that point, everything we had dynoed had been GLTC cars, making between 200 and like 230. I think our high score up to that point was James Houghton made 241.
Yep.
It was literally 4 times more than what Houghton made.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was pretty impressive. I mean, Josh, because he's Josh and he works at Excessive, and they dyno the wildest shit there, and he's just like, okay, whatever. And I was like, the fucking thing just made 967 to the wheels.
I see it every day, dude.
And he's like, yeah, and I'm like, that's crazy. And then the next thing we put on there was Dan Malloy's Mazda 2 Sunday Cup car, and it made like 89 to the wheel or something like that.
There it is.
So actually, what you got, that's a video. It's just so quiet. You can't even hear it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's totally a video.
That's why it's so slow?
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's that too. Dude, it was... I can't remember if it was that one or if it was the Protege. Josh tried to start it again because he didn't even... he couldn't even hear it when it was on the dyno. Oh, shit, that's already running. My bad, dude.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah. So...
That's fine.
But then... That was pretty early in the weekend, so I'm still learning the software, and I hadn't figured out how to clear the previous graph.
Oh.
So when it pulled up Dan's first graph, it still had the GT500 graph on there, and it auto-scales, right? So Dan's graph is just these little squiggly lines across the bottom of the page. You can't even see them almost.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
It's just like, it's almost a straight line because it's just...
Yeah. Like his peak number isn't even where the dyno for the Mustang started.
Not even close.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was kind of funny, and I enjoyed that a lot. So it was also really funny with a lot of these cars that are heavily detuned, like Swenson especially, but even James's car. James spins that car to like real dumb RPM numbers, like
for
9 something. So that's pretty crazy already. But it was really prominent with the vets that we did. We did Swenson's and Jackson Jensen's just for checking, and then Paul Curley ended up impound.
Yep.
After race 4, and the vets, like, they sound rowdy, right? Because I mean they're open header V8s, and they probably have not stock cams in them, and they sound rowdy. But because they only open to like 40% throttle, it takes them forever to make a dyno pull. So not being able to see a screen and understand what's going on, like that thing revving to like 10,000 RPM. Like, what are you guys doing with these things, right? And so there'll be like 100 people around this dyno. Like we had to put up gates and barriers to keep people back from the dyno. Phones up, videos recording. So these, because they're like, that's a race car. Like I just saw that out on the racetrack.
Yeah.
He just won, right? Like
That car's fast.
That car's fast. 229 horsepower. But it just pops up on Josh's little laptop, and then Josh just kind of shows it to Jeremy, who's sitting in the driver's seat, and all right, cool. And then, so they never see it, so they don't know that it just made 230 wheel. They don't have any idea.
500-600.
Yeah, they're like, oh man, that thing. Because it takes forever for it to rev because it's so detuned. It's getting so little air that it doesn't pull the red line as fast as you would expect it to.
Right.
And so in your mind, you just think, well, it must rev really, really high, right? And then, well, if he's revving that high, I'm sure it's making crazy power, right? No, it's just really detuned. So that was kind of funny. It was shocking to me how many people were watching, and not only how many people watched it, but how many people I got to the point where I'd recognize them.
They'd always come back.
Because they're over and over. They're over there watching the dyno.
Huh.
Like there's a racetrack
right there
50 feet away from us with some of literally the wildest cars in the world making runs. And there's people watching this dyno 200 horsepower Honda Civics. I mean, literally, Rob Dom's 2,000 horsepower tube chassis, quad rotor, biggest turbo that Garrett makes, RX-7, is on the racetrack, and somebody's standing there watching us dyno
a Mazda Protege.
It's like, what are you doing, man?
Over there. That's hilarious.
Ryan Turek's out there slamming gears in his Formula One powered Supra.
Yep.
And people are watching us dyno whatever. Pete Lindbergh's Fit.
I mean, I enjoy a good dyno pull with the rest of them, but at the track, I'm going to be hard pressed to stick around very long.
Yeah. So for the most part, it was really good. Everybody was either relatively happy or surprised with the dynos they made.
That's good.
Excluding competitors. There's a couple people, I'm going to leave their names out because there was some stuff going on with it. Okay. But, and I don't want to drag any particular shop or anything through the mud, but there was a group of guys that had Hondas, and so James Houghton, he shows up with his whole Canadian entourage, right?
Okay.
And so he's got Eric Levine with him, who's the owner of Levine Motorsports and has been James's tuner
since forever, like, well, with the Integra and all that stuff, has been his tuner forever. Comes to almost all of the races that I've ever seen James at. Eric is there with him. Yep. And by all accounts, he's a damn good tuner. And so there were a couple of guys that they brought the car up. They dynoed the car. They were really disappointed in the number it made. They had Eric come in there and just work his magic.
Yeah, he's just doing his thing, and then make the pull and doing his thing. And next thing you know, these guys are making they're only making maybe 5 or 10 horsepower more at peak, but they're making 15 horsepower everywhere else. Just like
dang.
I mean,
that was money well spent.
Yeah, we literally took a bunch of cars, probably 5 or 6 cars this weekend, and made them more competitive.
Awesome.
And still be within the rule set, because this thing was on site and they realized I didn't get the tune I wanted.
Yeah, this isn't as optimized.
Or this isn't as good as I was hoping for, or there's something wrong. And then Eric's over there doing his thing and just killing it.
Does he tune up rev? I can bring a laptop.
So it was pretty cool to watch him do his thing,
Yeah. I'm that way with anyone that's super good at their craft.
Yeah.
I can just sit and watch them.
So the group that we did, they had 4 cars as a team.
Okay.
And we got 3 of them through on Friday night, but we were told
a certain cutoff time.
We were told that we had to be quiet by midnight. So we shut the last one down. It was 11:15. We're like, you can bring that one back tomorrow morning.
Yeah, that's fair.
We'll get the 4th one done tomorrow morning. And so Levine comes up with his laptop and he opens it up. He gets in the car and he opens it and goes, God damn it. And Josh is like, what's up? He's like, left my laptop open last night in the trailer, and he shows it to us, and it's a picture of He-Man like it's the whole background is like this big rainbow with He-Man standing there. Just like, that's best. I was like, dude, it could have been way worse than that. He's like, actually, I don't know that I even hate it. It's
gonna stay now.
Yeah, like fuck it, I'm just gonna leave it.
It's a good story. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. So, we had a couple of guys that, like, somebody showed up with a G37X, which is all-wheel drive, right? And we're like, this is a two-wheel drive dyno, dude. Like,
yeah, I was about to ask.
We can't do that. He's like, no. You pull the fuses, and it disengages the front differential. It's just rear-wheel drive. And I was like,
okay,
are you sure? And he's like, I've got videos of me doing burnouts with it. And he like pulls his phone out and shows me videos. I was like, what do you think, Josh? And he's like, we'll strap it down. If it doesn't like it, we're taking it back off. That's
all you can ask.
And so we put it on there, and he wasn't wrong.
That's all it took. Is that I suppose if it's all electronics controlling all that.
I guess.
Huh.
I didn't think it would work.
No, I would have argued a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no way, dude. This isn't going to work.
I didn't feel super comfortable with it, but we did it anyway. So,
it's not your dyno.
Yeah. Forsberg and company. They had, I guess before the weekend, they threw a motor in that car.
Yep.
Because the motor that was
seized.
in it was seized for some strange reason.
Yeah, like I don't know the story behind it. But yeah, they went to like load it up and it was seized.
Yeah, and so then they get there and I think they made like a practice session and that motor was toast.
Yep.
And right next to the dyno, there was one of the vendors was like a junkyard.
I think it's A1 Solutions.
I think it's A Solutions. I don't think the one's in there.
They're out of Chicago. I've gotten some parts from them.
Yeah,
they're good shit.
Yeah. So they were there and they had a VQ37. I don't know if they had it there, or if they brought it down, but Forsberg and his team spent like all night swapping. It was funny. We were kind of doing a little paddock walk, I think Thursday night with Jabe. And Altamaniac is like shoved off to the side, right?
Yep.
And he goes, this just makes me so happy. He's like, there's that 2,000 horsepower drift
monster,
like custom built tube frame drift car that has so much like social media presence. It's not even funny. They just push it aside like it's nothing because they got to fix this GLTC car.
Yup. Priorities. They're in the right spot.
They got it running, and then pulled it over on the dyno, put it on the dyno, and made a couple pulls. We're real thrilled about it. So
nice.
That was cool. It was kind of fun to like have the opportunity to. I mean, we didn't help, right?
No, but like kind of like rub shoulders with the guys that are.
But
Levine, and then like kind of like Chris Forsberg. Like, I mean, that's cool to be.
We provided a service this weekend that made people's weekends better.
Yes,
which was fun. Like, I wish I could have got more time to watch more racing, but it was still fun to get to be involved in such a strange thing.
Yeah, and it helps if people aren't like, it needed to be 235 and it's reading 230. Your dyno's fucked up. And you get that guy. Kind of like when people bring their cars on scales.
Yeah.
That's
interesting.
Sucks. Yeah. These scales aren't accurate. Well, we're all using the same one, so I'll tell you.
Yeah, figure it
out.
Sorry,
bro.
Figure it out.
Yep.
That's kind of what it was. There were a few people that were like, "Oh shit!" Like, that's not what I thought it was. This is the dyno we're using, so
yeah. I mean,
adjust your comp sheet accordingly, I guess.
Yep. Now we rewrote our rules to say that. I was like, you will be weighed according to the scales that are at the event. I don't give a shit what you weighed.
Yeah, Ryan Christoph. He's got that crazy little tube frame CRX.
Yeah.
Right. And he brought it up and I'm like, well, what should it make? And he's like, well, the motor that was in it made 160. Okay. This is the same motor, but I don't know anything about it. So I guess we'll find out. And it made 150. And he's like, all right, well, guess I'm pulling some weight out.
Perfect.
Cool. Change my comp form.
Yeah.
Cool. So like it was fun to be able to.
It's nice to nice to have that.
In all reality, that having that there and that service made what is already impressively close racing
even better. Without question.
So it was neat. It was fun. I would do it again. Like it's a great time. It was cool. It was a really good experience. So I'm basically a dyno operator now. Basically, I'm basically a tuner.
You're one step away from being a tuner.
I'm going to put that on my LinkedIn.
Basically a tuner.
Yeah, I'm going to put that on my LinkedIn for sure.
I love it. Gridlife's basically a tuner.
Yeah.
Yep. Love it.
A bunch of people were like, "Oh, is this yours?" Like, nah, it's Gridlife's. Like, are you guys here like with this dyno? Like, no, it's Gridlife's. We're just
here to help.
We're just following the circus, man. So some girl came up and she's like, is this yours? Like, is it available for rent? And I was like, it's Gridlife's.
Like for birthday parties?
Well, no. So I guess she was with one of the drifters.
Yep.
And she said her boss was looking for one for some sort of commercial video shoot.
Oh.
I don't know what that means.
I'm sure they could make something work.
When she came up, her boyfriend was we were right next to the air fill station. So her boyfriend was putting air in the tires on his car.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, I recognize that guy. I know who he is.
He's been around.
Right. He's been drifting at Gridlife as long as we've been going to Gridlife. It's a car I recognize right off the bat, right?
Of course.
And so I texted Jabay on Monday and I was like, hey, man, I don't know what his name is, but it's this car. His girlfriend was interested in renting the dyno if you want to get a hold of him. And he's like, hell yeah, I know exactly who that is. I'll see if we can do something, because it wasn't cheap. They got a good price on it, but it still wasn't cheap.
No.
And they want to pay it off. So
yeah,
if you can rent it out for a day in Chicago, then
perfect.
Yeah. So that was kind of the other idea with letting people on it was, if this can help pay for itself, then
and it will.
Then win.
I'd be shocked if that thing's not being used at any given moment throughout the entire weekend.
So it was kind of funny. Thursday we were pretty busy.
Yeah.
Friday, right away in the morning, we had a couple of cars, and then we didn't do anything from like noon to like 7 p.m.
Okay.
And then that group of guys showed up with their cars, and Levine was on there from 7 to midnight. And then we shut it down. And Saturday was a little more spaced out.
Okay.
A little more even. And then we shut it down earlier.
You got a party.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, we wanted to go in and like enjoy
the debauchery.
The fun, you know. Yeah. So speaking of.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's why everyone's here.
Yeah, probably.
We don't care about the track stuff.
Good, because I didn't see a fucking thing. I know a couple of, we can talk about this real quick. Time attack things I know happened.
Okay. I don't think we have any pictures.
Probably not. Ferris went 24. He did not improve. I don't know of his own personal record, but he definitely didn't beat Will's record. So Will's record continues to stand. Will was there, but with his RSX, which is a track mod car. Made me sad. I assume he was probably there with that car because the Civic is probably deep in the throes of Pikes Peak prep,
which would make sense,
right? Which makes me sad. Like part of me loves that he's a avid Pikes Peak competitor now, and part of me is really sad that he's an avid Pikes Peak competitor now because that usually will mean that we won't get to see the Civic at festival, and that makes me sad.
Yeah, I always like seeing that car.
So I think that car could knock his already standing record down a ways now.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think it's better than it was before.
Without question.
I think that car is better suited for that track than it is for COTA as compared to Ferris. And the fact that he was as close to Ferris as he was at COTA tells me that car is capable of more than what it was at Gingerman already.
Yep.
So that would be really cool. I would love to see that record go down into the 22s or the 21s.
That'd be wild.
So that would be sweet, but I don't know. Maybe it won't ever happen. So, no overall record improved. Street class record, Ben Lynn, Gears and Gasoline fame. He's got the record now with his Evo, which is cool because that has been a Subaru held record for a while. So it's cool to see it get knocked down. I didn't necessarily expect it to stand, but I expected it to stay Subaru.
Okay.
Because there's Josh Hulka kind of made a recipe, and a number of other Subarus have followed that recipe, and then maybe made little tweaks here and there. So I expected that recipe or that record to possibly fall, but I didn't expect it to not be a Subaru. So I was pleasantly surprised that it isn't, because I like that changing.
Yeah, just not
Just
because,
just for interest's sake, you know.
Right.
There's Ben Lynn out there in his Evo and like 6 Subarus, and so like it makes me happy that was able to happen that way. Club TR, Grant Davidson, Iowa win. What up? Lives in Newton.
Awesome,
super awesome. Killed it. 38s.
Dang,
super fast.
That's
really
quick.
Exciting to see that. Just because we have a bunch of straight roads doesn't mean we don't make fast drivers, Robbie.
That's true.
So what's your excuse?
I'm a terrible driver.
All right, that's fair. I mean, what are you going to do, right?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Not very good at this. I just enjoy it.
That's fair.
Sometimes.
I know how that feels way too well.
Yeah.
I think that was about it. I think Street GT has a new record. I don't follow Street GT that closely.
No.
Unfortunately. Not that I'm not interested in it. I just don't know anybody in it, so I don't follow it that closely.
I was going to say I had the
Track Mod. There were a couple of cars that I was excited to see back in Track Mod, like Michael Puglisi, and his Evo is back. He's been gone for at least a year, if not 2. So it was exciting to see him again, but he didn't improve on Ferris's ridiculous time. Street Mod is forever going to be stuck chasing Sean's record, even though he's like, nah, fuck it, I'm going to GLTC. So, yeah. I think that was all I know about that.
I was going to say, I had the live stream up off and on throughout the weekend. I didn't watch all of it, but I was able to kind of keep up on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know everybody as well as you do, so I wasn't like
GLTC, things happen.
Yeah.
People
racing.
raced.
Yeah.
Couple of contact.
Yeah, that happens.
Real bum deal. Somebody's out there in a K-swapped S10. He's my homie.
I was Rudd's Racing.
Makes me really happy. There was a Honda Odyssey and an S10 that were battling out all week, and I was like, they were in last place, and I was like, that is the best.
Yep. Yeah, on Instagram it's Rudd's, RUDZ Racing.
Yeah, they're a shop.
It's super cool.
Yeah. Really, really excited to see that. It had like a throwback mellow yellow livery.
Like Days of Thunder.
I loved. It was great. Yeah, that was cool.
I think it was race 4, and Kyle and Greg are talking about, like, you know, how you can have 55 cars on track in GLTC, and like the racing's good, and like there's no incidences, and like they went on and like we're talking about it, like for a while.
Yeah.
And I wanted to like comment on the YouTube. I was like, stop jinxing them. Stop.
Yeah, why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Kyle,
seriously.
You have spent 5 minutes talking about how
clean?
How clean they race.
Bro.
You're about to have the worst race of your life. Stop
it.
But I didn't want to put that out there in the universe.
Yeah.
But it was just like,
that's a strict rule we have at work.
Yeah.
You don't tempt fate like that.
You do not talk about a perfect game. You don't do it.
No, man. No.
Not to say that they had a perfect weekend, because of there was some incidents. But again, when you have 55 cars on track and you have minor incidences and only a handful of them, still impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah. So, shenanigans. Let's talk about shenanigans.
Stuff I missed out on.
Once again, Tommy of Festiva fame.
Yep.
Was there.
From peeing on my trailer fame.
Yep. The Camaro adventure. All those sort of things.
Yep, that guy.
I don't know if this is good or bad.
Yes.
But Dalton's trailer and Dalton and all of the Festiva guys and that whole paddock area, they're now us.
Yes.
In the minds and hearts
it's
of
the 10/10 podcast paddock area.
Yes, it is. It is, Robbie.
I know it is.
Like, even James Houghton.
You went to the 10/10 podcast.
Thinks that's 10/10 podcast guys. Like, I don't want to be associated with them. For better or worse, that's what we and they are stuck with.
Yep.
So that's a thing now.
I'm okay with that, I guess.
I mean,
that
it could be worse, but it could certainly be better.
It could be better. It sounds like the reputation throughout the paddock is positive to an extent.
I don't know.
Maybe not positive. Positive is probably not the right word, but
it's not negative.
It's not negative.
It's not negative, which I guess is good.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
We'll do this pass fail.
So Tommy brought the new and improved hot tub. Okay, it's the same hot tub.
Yep.
That hasn't changed any. But it has, despite the fact that it's just like a smaller inflatable hot tub.
Yeah, just an Intex.
Right, just a cheap.
It's made for like 5 people.
Yeah. We put 12 in it.
There's plenty of room.
Standing room only.
Exactly.
It has a full-fledged regular-sized hot tub filtration system on it now.
Nice.
Still not good enough.
Never would be.
But it did make a much better effort at it.
That's good.
And also, it has a much better heating element system on it now.
Because he built a custom thing, didn't he?
It's a whole deal.
Good for him.
It's a whole deal. But it'll heat up like 5 or 6 degrees an hour, which is remarkable faster.
That is.
We did not
doing it.
We did.
Good Lord.
We did not have to heat up water in beer cans on the griddle and then pour them into the hot tub this year. So that's an improvement.
That's a nice improvement.
It's a nice
for everybody.
Yeah, really it is.
Where'd you get the water? You just have the hose?
Same way they did it last year.
I can't remember how didn't they do it to pick up and back up into it?
Yeah, so it's really frustrating how smoothly it goes too, honestly. Joe King brings his Toyota Tacoma.
Yep.
And then they put a tarp in the back of that, and Tommy stands there literally for an hour or an hour and a half just filling up the back of this fucking truck.
As someone that has filled one of those above ground pools,
Yeah.
I can tell you it takes forever.
Yeah. And just like filling up off of Gingerman's water.
That's fine.
Sorry.
They made enough money this
Yeah, they probably did all right. But and then they just drive it across paddock and back the truck up over the thing, and then
drop the tailgate.
They hold the tarp up, drop the tailgate, and then just kind of let it down, and the tarp kind of V's and just
fills,
pours into the hot tub. And Dalton and I, we were standing there when they came to fill it up, and I was like, that went really smoothly last year. There's no way that happens twice, right? Like, there's just no way. Not
flawless.
A drop, Robbie. It's so frustrating.
We wanted a mess. And
I did. I really did. And then this year he also bought a slushy machine.
The statistics on this are mind-blowing to me. Do you have them?
It might.
I have them memorized.
It might take me a few minutes.
I have them memorized.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay.
So
he bought a slushy. This is like an industrial, like commercial gas station slushy machine, right?
That he got on like Facebook Marketplace, I'm assuming.
So it's as old as I am, probably.
It works.
Actually, at first it didn't.
Oh, that's right.
So Tommy was convinced that the generator wasn't strong enough to run the thing, which wasn't true.
I do remember them requesting.
And so he made a post on Track Midwest asking if anybody wanted to trade a 7,000 watt generator for their 3,500 watt generator. Oddly enough, nobody agreed to such an offer. Weird. Because anybody who has a 7,000 watt generator needs it. Yeah. So, and then Dalton talked him into understanding that it probably wasn't that, and that he needed to top off the refrigerant or whatever. So then he went online and edited his post on Track Midwest asking if anybody had refrigerant in the gauge setup, and obviously no one did. So he drove.
So does it just use like what a car would use, like R134A?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Cool.
So then he drove to another town. I don't remember which one.
You didn't go to South Haven and use the discount at O'Reilly's?
No, because he needed like the gauge set and all that stuff to like what fills up an air conditioning unit, like at your house.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So he went to Harbor Freight and bought that stuff.
Oh, yeah. They do that there.
Yeah. And, put a little bit in there, and all of a sudden it just clicked on and off it went. So
that's nice when things work out.
He did test it at home enough to understand that so alcohol has a lower freezing point than water, Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like colder.
Right. It has to be colder than water does. And so,
or in general, it doesn't freeze at all.
Well, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So they were using, I think, vodka they're using tequila or triple sec. And that, like, if you put that in the slushy machine, it won't slushy.
Right.
It just
makes a big mess.
Just comes out as juice.
Yep.
Really cold juice.
Yep.
And so he had to slushy separately.
Yep.
Which was actually a good thing, because that meant that like people could come and get a slushy midday, or like kids walking by or whatever, So that was
the better setup.
It was kind of nice. Yeah.
I do love a good slushy.
But then, so like Friday night, we karaoke'd Saturday night. So Friday night it was quieter over in Matt's area. They were doing movie night. We watched Fast and the Furious. It was great.
That sounds awesome.
And so the hot tub was hopping Friday night, and there were a couple of girls that had come up with their boyfriends.
Okay.
And both of them desperately wanted in the hot tub.
Okay.
Both of their boyfriends were adamantly against it.
What?
Like literally standing like against the hot tub, between the hot tub and their girlfriends, like trying to push them back, like, no, you're not going in there. And the one girl like fine, whatever, and like walks away, and her boyfriend goes with her, and they get like 20 steps away, and she just like jukes him, spins around, and like starts running for the hot tub, like trying to pull her shirt off.
Good for her.
And the dude just like wraps his arm around her waist and stops her.
Bro.
Right?
Just relax.
Fun haters.
Yes, if your chick wants to get naked and get in a hot tub, let her.
I mean,
that's for everyone to enjoy.
It's still your chick.
Exactly.
Like, you're still going to take her back to your.
She's not cheating on you. If Jess wants to dance around in that pool naked, I'm not going to stop her. Be my fucking guest.
So, she didn't understand that there wasn't alcohol in the slushy machine.
Oh.
So she got down on her knees and put her mouth on the
on the slushy
the slushy thing. But
dude, that sounds awful.
So it didn't come with the dispenser. So Tommy made one out of 3/4 inch PVC.
Yeah.
So it's huge.
Oh, so I can see it in the picture.
It'll fill a Dixie cup like done. Like now it'll fill a Dixie cup, right? Because like it moves way more volume than one does at a store.
Oh my God.
So that stuff hit this drunk chick like a bat out of hell, dude, like a train. I don't know how much of it actually went into her mouth.
All of it, and then it went all out.
Oh, right. I don't know how much she actually swallowed of it, but like that had to brain freeze hard.
So fast. I bet it hurt the rest of the night.
I don't think she was feeling any pain, Robbie.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Her hangover was probably extra bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So Tommy posted the stats.
Yeah.
To the group. Over the course of the weekend, you guys went through, accounting for spillage, you had 35 gallons of slushy.
Yep.
Which meant 17 liters of the cheapest tequila Tommy could find. And I can't remember the exact, I think it was like 2 or 3 liters of triple sec.
Yep.
17 liters of tequila in 3 days.
Yeah. Dude, so he had a tip jar up on top of it.
That's nice.
And people would just walk by and like, oh, slushy? It's like, yeah, man. And they'd pour themselves a slushy, and then Tommy would, or it was either Tommy or Sam was manning the bar, if you will.
Okay.
Which was just a folding table next to the slushy machine. And, they'd pour some vodka or some tequila in there, and then they'd drop a tip in there, and he had a little piece of cardboard that he had written his Venmo and his Cash App on. Yep. And
I'm sure damn near paid for it.
Well, so between Thursday and Friday night, he ran out. So Saturday, he took a bunch of that cash and went into town and bought more.
Of course.
Yeah. Because, he's nothing if not a great host.
He is a great host. He showed up with one goal.
Yeah.
And that was to have a good time at his hot tub.
Partay.
Yep.
Yeah.
At the 1010s Podcast Paddock.
Yeah. So the picture you've got up here, there was at one point I think they had... Dalton had smoked some pork, and so I think I was walking over there to get some of that for supper. I was going to grab a couple for me and for Josh and then walk back to the dyno, right?
Makes sense.
And it's like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, right? And I walk over there, I come around the corner, and there's Tommy sitting in the hot tub by himself.
Just hanging.
Just
out. Waiting until he can start partying.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I was like, I should walk away. Like, this is a trap.
Yep.
Right? Like, it's just Tommy.
By himself.
Which means that all of his energy is going to be focused on me.
Yep.
But I still walked through there because I wanted pulled pork.
Did you get sucked into a Tommy party the rest of the day?
No, I was like, dude, I gotta go back to the. This is for Josh. I gotta.
Okay.
Yeah. Thursday night we took Joe's protege. Yep. And we ran into town and we bought $600 worth of groceries.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That got out of hand really fast.
Would you just get like snacks and shit? Or like proper food? Like
we bought like
meats and buns?
20 pounds of pork of pork ass.
Yep.
And like 20 pounds of brisket.
Oh, good for you guys.
And like, I don't know, like 4 30 racks of beer.
Yeah, of course.
And then they had pre-made Jell-O shots, which was decided, well, we got to try these, right? So we bought a bag of those, and they bought a couple handles of whatever it was, and a couple cases of water because we're responsible adults.
That is responsible. Good for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you have 17 liters of tequila in 36 hours.
To be clear, that wasn't consumed by just like a small number of
No,
people.
it was like all the
whole
GA.
fucking paddock.
Yeah, like anyone that walked past got some.
Yeah.
If they were of age. We're responsible.
Right, absolutely.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Nick was there with his sons. I'm sure they didn't get any of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I feel confident in saying that Nick's sons were not drinking.
There were
I feel pretty confident in that.
There were girls in the hot tub Saturday night. At one point, at first this doesn't seem like good odds, but when you think about it being at a racetrack, this is a shocking statistic.
Okay.
At one point, there were 11 people in that hot tub when I was there.
Yeah.
And 5 of them were females.
That's a lot of females.
Honest to God, real chicks.
Yeah, girls.
In our hot tub. That's a shockingly good average.
At a racetrack? It's unreal.
Right. That's where I was at on it. But like they're in there just in their underwear or whatever,
Yeah.
right? And Nick's son and friend had just like gone to bed.
Okay.
And he was like, should I go wake up? They're like 15
Yeah,
years old, right?
this is like they live for this
like,
more than us even.
Should I go wake them up? And he's like, I think I should, right?
Yeah.
So he like goes over there and opens the camper door, and they're passed the fuck out. And he goes, "Nah, it's not worth it. Just close the door." And then the next morning, I guess I wasn't there, but they were like recounting the things that had happened. And apparently, at some point, underwear wasn't even cutting it anymore.
No, yeah, it got hot.
Yeah, there were. Yeah, it's a hot tub.
Yeah,
I mean, of course they were hot. Apparently, there were titties flying.
Boobies everywhere.
Quote, "Never seen so many boobs in my life." That was a direct quote from a person who will remain nameless.
We got to protect the innocent.
Right. And apparently Nick's son's friend was just like visibly upset
that he missed all the titties.
He was sleeping 20 feet away in the back of a pickup camper while there was just like
a cornucopia of boobs.
Chaos of half-naked chicks.
Yeah, I missed a good year apparently.
Yeah. So then that was Friday night. I left before the tops came off because I was old and tired.
It happens.
Yeah.
I get it.
How it is.
I get it.
So then Saturday night, we were all hanging out by the karaoke area. Karaoke was just winding up.
Okay, that's at Matt Williams.
Yep, Matt Williams was just right next to Dalton. Again, this year. We were basically in the same spot.
Yeah, I noticed that. That's kind of our spot now.
Yeah. Yep.
The 10 Tenths Podcast paddock is always
so
right there.
Matt had a couple of cars because Matt gets special treatment because karaoke at this point is basically Gridlife official.
Yeah.
Like literally, Adam told Rob Wilkinson to take as many pictures as he could and make the crowd at the karaoke look insane because next year he wants to
have it be official,
have it be sponsored. Like he's like, I can sell that.
Absolutely, no question.
So next year we're going to have like a $10,000 karaoke party. It's going to be out of control.
Right next to
it's going to be
right next to the
sponsored-
10 Tenths Podcast.
Right, it's going to be
hot tub party.
sponsored by I don't even know who yet. Like
Some big name company like Valvoline.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be the Valvoline Gridlife official karaoke party.
Yep. Which is right next to the 10 Tenths Podcast official hot tub party.
Right. So we were hanging out at the karaoke area. It was just kind of winding up, and James and his entourage of Canadians had come over there, and James, I think a few of them had never been to a Gridlife before. A few of them were new.
Okay.
And James was like, "We're fucking going to GA camping, and we're taking Jabay with us, right?"
Perfect.
So we were moved. We became what was known as the unit.
Who called it the unit?
James.
Okay. I'll
So
allow it.
whenever we were at a place and James wanted to continue on, unit assemble, and we'd all just kind of like
stop what you're doing and just we're here.
Oh, that's me. I'm the unit.
I am the unit.
We got it. I'm out. Okay. So we went over to GA, And we were just kind of walking through, just kind of taking in the chaos, right?
Yeah, of course. It's
meandering-
10,000 people just partying.
Right. We were meandering our way up towards Spectator Hill because James had never made it that far before.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Adam wanted to show him like how cool it is to stand on Spectator Hill at night
and just see everything.
all of the things. right?
Adam Jabay's 12,000 best friends.
Right. That's kind of a tradition at this point, is for us. You know, I know you've done it a couple of times.
Yeah.
I've done it a bunch of times. Like go to Spectator Hill
and then view it at
fucking
night.
1 o'clock in the morning, and so we're working our way through GA. It's not going quickly because
No, of course, you get stopped at every party.
There's a unit. There's a bunch of us, right? At some point in time, I don't know how this came about, but it was like 1:30 at night, right? And James decided that everything was dying down too quickly, which it really wasn't.
No,
but at
2
the
in the
same time,
morning.
it kind of was.
Yeah, 2 in
Like
the
things were definitely winding down, but it wasn't like dead. It
On
wasn't
Friday
like
night?
No, Saturday night.
Saturday. Okay.
It wasn't like last year where I was like, are these people
Where the hell is everybody?
legit dead? I don't know what's happening. So James decided that what we needed to make happen was two-step at 2.
Two-step at 2.
Two-step at 2.
What time does quiet hour start? Midnight?
Midnight.
Gotcha. Just want to make sure we're all on the same page here.
So James is running around just to every random stranger he can find and be like, dude, two-step at 2.
Holy shit.
Two-step at 2, right? And so I messaged the group that we had going with like the Festiva guys and the
Everyone's just there.
right, the ones that were there, and I said, two-step at 2, you know, pass it on, spread the word, right? And Dalton's like, all right. And
Holy
so
shit.
so he finds Matt Williams, who's in charge of the mic at the 400-person karaoke party in the paddock, which is across the track from where we are, and he's like, dude, two-step at 2. And now announce it on the mic, right? Like, we're gonna do this two-step at 2.
Oh my God.
And Matt's like, dude, I'm not doing that. I'm like, no, Jabay said it was okay. And he's like, I'm not doing that. And so Dalton texts me back and he goes, get Jabay to text us in the other group chat that Jabay's in and say, just say two-step at 2. And I'll show that to Matt and we'll announce it. I'm like, all right. So I get Jabay and he just types that two-step at 2, bro. No fucking context or anything like that into the other group chat that we're all in, right?
Yep.
I'm sure you saw it roll in at fucking 1:30 in the morning.
Yep.
With no context, and Matt's like, all right, he said it. So he, like, between 2 songs and the karaoke, like, hey guys, we've got a request, like, we're all gonna two-step at 2, like that's gonna be a thing, right? And Jabay has an ops walkie-talkie on him, right? And it's like 1:59, and all of a sudden some lady comes over the ops radio and goes, Adam, what are you doing? You're gonna get us fined. You're gonna get us in so much trouble. And next thing you know, whoop, pop, pop, pop. It wasn't that bad.
I'm sure.
Like, it wasn't like 10,000 people stopped and went,
Yeah, we're all two-step.
let's rev our cars to the moon and back right fucking now.
Yep.
But there were
Enough.
people two-stepped at 2.
Who was? Do you know who it was on the mic yelling at Adam?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I want to know. I can guess, but I want to know.
Yeah.
After.
Yeah, it happened.
Okay.
It was hilarious.
Is it who I think it is?
I mean, probably.
Okay, good.
It was a girl.
Yeah, I was only a handful of them that are in
Right.
that
Yeah,
level of authority. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
good for them.
It was hilarious.
That's amazing.
So that happened. But before two-step at 2, one of the things that slowed us up for like almost 30 minutes while we were trying to progress through GA, we came across some guy with a red Ford Focus.
Like mine or like a new one?
Like the next generation up, probably.
Okay.
And he was trying to break into said Ford Focus.
His Focus.
Well, and
Allegedly.
we stopped. Like, hey,
Is that yours?
what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, he's like, oh, I locked my keys in my car. They're right there in the center console. And so we went from like, is this your car, to like, oh, this guy locked himself out. Let's fucking break into his car for him, right? And so next thing you know, the Canadians are like tearing the door trim off the top of so they can get down.
Yeah.
And someone procured a radio antenna from another car somewhere. I don't know where.
See, once you do this one time, you remember to put a Slim Jim in your toolbox.
Well, that we get there.
Okay. I was going to say, I have one. And
get there.
And I've used it many a time because everyone's like, does anyone have a Slim Jim? I'm like, yeah, I do because we've done this many times.
Yeah, we'll get there. So I don't know where the antenna came from.
Yeah, just ripped it off the next car over.
Right. So they were trying to like slide that down between the door skin and like they spent
forever
15 minutes not getting anywhere on that.
It never works.
Apparently the unlock button for that Focus is in the center console.
Oh yeah.
Down low, like up by the shifter.
Yeah. That's stupid. But
Which sucks. Yeah, and so then they gave up on that and they were trying to pull the driver's side door out enough that they could get that down in there and then twist it to pop the door lock and get that one door open, right?
Yeah.
The manual lock. And they were scratching the fuck out of the door jamb, right?
Yeah, of course.
And James gets the bright idea that like it's way cheaper to replace a window than it is to repaint a car.
He's not wrong.
So he was trying to talk this kid into breaking the window of his car instead of fucking up the paint. Right. And he's like, man, I'm not doing that. He's like, this is Adam Jabay. This is the motorsports director and co-founder of Gridlife. If you break that window, I'll get him to give you tickets for next year. And Jabay's like, what? What are you? Whoa. And we eventually got him to agree to give him camping.
Jeez.
Because the kid was like, I want VIP tickets. And Jabay's like, no, those are really expensive. Like, I'll get you entry and camping. Like, that's all the farther we're going. And he's like, I want a time attack ticket for this like piece of shit Ford Focus, right? And Jabay's like, no.
No, bro.
That's definitely
those sell out.
I'll give you VIP tickets before I'll give you a time attack pass.
Right.
And so then the kid like settled for camping but then like backed out on not breaking the window out. And then all of a sudden one of the friendly Canadians managed to pop the door open.
Oh, good.
And we just like, all right, well,
see ya.
Fuck yourself. And we just walked away, right? Like unit assemble, and we walked away. But one of James's entourage is a guy named Tony. And Tony's like 6'3" to 6'5".
A tall guy.
265 pounds. Like big dude.
Big strong
right?
guy,
like probably was a very popular man in his high school football team.
Okay. I can picture it.
Yep. Italian.
Okay. Like the mob Italian.
Like a big Italian guy.
Yeah.
Right? Like Okay. His name's Tony.
Yeah, it's starting to, I'm painting a picture.
He's a Canadian Italian guy. He's got a very strange accent. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But apparently they were talking about how Tony is just lightning fast, right? Just like
running,
just like so fast on a foot race. Right.
Okay.
And so then one of Focus Guy's friends was like, dude, I can beat that guy. Very drunk. Focus.
Yeah, of course.
Very drunk. It's like, I can beat that guy.
2 a.m.
I can beat that guy. So they line him up, and I think it was Scott Malloy, GLTC data superstar.
Yep.
Like stands in front of him and turns his flashlight on, and Tony just fucking takes off, dude. Like fucking lightning out of a bottle. Just
gone.
Put bus lengths on him. Like took him to Gapplebee's and gave him the whole menu. Destroyed this kid. And I was like,
who the fuck is that guy?
That dude's the fastest guy on the planet. I'm convinced of it, right? And so we were pretty buzzed up about that. We are pretty excited about that, but we kind of let that move on.
Okay.
And because we got distracted by the picture you have here, which was 2 Groms doing burnouts.
Oh, those are Groms.
Yes, they were nose to nose doing burnouts.
Of course they were.
And so we were like 100 feet away from these guys, right?
Yep.
And they started like wop, pop, 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 just going for it, right? Smoke rolling off the tires, engines at red line, wop, pop, pop. And we're like,
the hell are these guys doing?
They got to be done soon, right? They got to be done soon. And Scott Malloy and I like wander our way over there just nonchalantly, still going wop, pop. Dude, they had to. I have a 30-second video on my phone. And that came in at least a minute and a half or 2 minutes after it started. And I stopped before they finished. And the reason they finished is because they had been digging a hole in the asphalt so deep. And I think they had gotten the asphalt so hot that it had become gummy.
Yeah.
And the tire had sunk so far down in there that it was bogging the engine down because it was getting stuck in the hole.
This is out in GA?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And that's when they had to stop. And Jabez just like, I didn't fucking see anything. Like, I don't know.
No, I'm out of here.
I'm not involved in this. This wasn't me. I don't know anything.
He wasn't anywhere near that.
And then it was starting to get a little rowdy, and I think he may have snitched. I think he may have opted and snitched.
That's fair.
But, yeah, those guys.
You got to know when to, like, okay, this has gone one step
Right.
further than this should.
So after we watched these guys run their Groms
Into the ground, literally.
literally into the ground, and we foot raced with Tony, and we broke into a focus, we finally got the unit assembled once again and made our way the rest of the way up to Spectator Hill.
Okay.
But in that time, we had gotten a hold of, so Joe was with us, Joe King was with us, and he knew that Dan Malloy, another Festiva guy, had a break-in kit in his tool bag. Because he doesn't go anywhere without one either.
Yeah.
And so we had texted them and got a hold of them, and Dalton and Sam and Dan had hopped in Sam's Fit and were bringing it around to GA. And by the time they finally were able to get through the mob and into the area, we had broken into the focus and had made it most of the way up the hill to Spectator Hill. And so then we were on Spectator Hill when we got to two-step at 2.
Yep.
We were up at the top of Spectator Hill at that point. Dalton just put his foot to the floor on the Fit. Whop, pop, pop. Barely hear it. It was maybe that loud. Whop, pop, pop was probably how louder it was.
Yeah, like 56 decibels.
Right. Like barely over a whisper. So that happened. But then we kind of hung out up there. James and a couple of his entourage wrestled with each other. It was a thing. I don't know what happened there. Apparently, Tony wanted to throw James on the ground, but he wasn't allowed to throw James on the ground until some other guy threw Tony on the ground, and that other guy didn't want to do it.
Okay.
So, like, the whole time we'd been walking and doing things, Tony had been, like, pushing this guy, right? Like, poking this bear. And finally, he just had enough, and he threw Tony on the ground, and Tony jumps up, and James is already, like, 50
Gone.
feet away. But Tony's the fastest guy on the planet, so it didn't matter. He still got what was
Caught
coming
him.
to him.
Just like a flying tackle.
Gone. And so then we're walking back down towards GA off of Spectator Hill, and we got the bright idea that clearly no one's going to beat Tony in a foot race.
Well, obviously.
But is he faster than a Honda Fit?
Ooh.
So we lined him up.
Of course.
We lined Tony and the Fit up, but the Fit had to be in the grass because we were on the road.
That's fair.
And that was...
Yeah, you gotta have a balanced performance.
We got to be safe. Was really what it came
Absolutely.
down to, right? And so Dalton was driving the Fit, and we flashlight started that, and Tony just fucking gone. And like he's so far ahead of the Fit, it's not even funny. Like, is the Fit even moving? So Dalton had to grab for second,
Okay.
trying to get traction so he could catch up to Tony, who's the fastest man in the world, apparently. Like, Usain Bolt's got nothing on this dude. I swear, dude, it was insane.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then on our way back home, we walked up on this group of people who were playing beer pong.
Oh, yeah.
And Jabez made the mistake of mentioning that he had never played beer pong before,
Oh, yeah,
which
never.
I just cannot fathom.
No, I'm pretty sure he played beer pong. I guess we didn't play beer pong last year.
Yeah. So apparently he'd never played beer pong before.
I used to be really good at pong.
So we rolled up on these strangers, and Houghton's like, this guy here, he's the motorsports director and co-founder of Gridlife.
I like how he always introduces him.
He's literally like the most important man here this weekend.
He's the guy.
He's the guy. And he's going to play beer pong with you. And those guys are like, fucking right he is. Like, holy shit, this guy's
is-
the reason you're here right now.
This guy.
This is the guy, right? So Ben Lynn stepped in. At some point in the night, I think when we were still over by the Focus, James was telling some randos that Ben Lynn has 1 million YouTube subs,
Of course he does.
which he does almost. He's got like 900 and
That's still a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy. But like Ben didn't want that, so he started telling everybody he was Rob Dom, who was there.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. So then the rest of the night he was known as Rob Dom to us. We were just like, hey,
It's Rob.
Dom. Like, come over here. Like, you know, and so Adam Jabay and Rob Dom played. As far as these people were concerned, he really, and I think
that's
they
who it
were
was.
probably drunk enough that they were like, yeah, that's fucking Rob Dom,
Yeah,
man.
for sure it is.
Yeah, that's
YouTube
Asian,
famous,
That's
yeah.
Asian Rob Dom. Like, I'm cool with that. And so these guys got to play beer pong with Asian Rob Dom and motorsports director of Gridlife.
Who won?
The randos.
They had been practicing.
Yeah, that's true. What was funny was, so they had a canopy set up, right? They had 2 canopies set up right next to each other, and they were playing beer pong under the one canopy, and under the other canopy there was a little folding plastic table, not much bigger than this one.
Okay,
maybe the same size as this one, and some dude with like headphones on and like a little beat pad.
Yeah, like the little tiny ones you can get.
Right, with like
6 buttons.
Right, and he's just going.
Like dead serious.
Yeah,
like this is
and
it.
there were 3 dudes in front of that table, and they were just, as far as they were concerned, whatever drugs they were on, that was the greatest mix of stuff they'd ever heard in their lives. Like, and he had one of those round Bluetooth speakers.
Yep.
That's like a 1.5 feet long.
Oh yeah.
And that's what he had synced, just cranked way too high.
Yeah, it was all like
and those guys
shit.
were into it, dude. Into it.
I wish I was into
we had like
anything that
we had a
much.
15-minute beer pong game, and they didn't stop
like look up at all
for like 20 seconds the whole time. So that was the deal.
Good for them.
Yeah. So that was, for the most part, that was the shenanigans that I was privy to.
That sounds like a pretty good time.
No trailers were peed on.
That's good.
No pinky promises. No hot tub time attack this year.
That's probably okay.
Jabay stayed out of the hot tub. Actively.
Probably
actively stayed out of the hot tub. The concert was concerty.
Okay. Like I know you're not like way
I didn't
into
know
those
any
bands.
of those things.
I know people were super pumped about Kavinsky because he hasn't done a show in like 9 years or whatever.
Right. Yeah. And he almost didn't make it.
Oh shoot.
He had some
Like flight. Yeah.
delay problems, and he was stuck in Dallas at like 2:00 in the afternoon still.
Oh shit.
And he lands in Detroit, so they were like, "Is he gonna fucking make it?"
Luckily, he's the last one.
Yeah. I think that was the only thing that saved him, was that he's the last guy on. No, he wasn't. Joyride came after him.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, I don't know who they are.
I thought he was last. Not whatever. It's
So-
not important.
Yeah,
Cool.
it was fun. I guess we were there for a little while, not very long.
Yeah. No, I mean we always check it out for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, when in Rome.
Yeah.
So
And you only do a couple of these a year.
food trucks, there was the same ones as there were last year. There's $16 pizzas.
I don't know if I've ever had one of their pizzas.
I did
I've had
last year.
I've had everything else.
I did last year. This year, the line was never less than 15 people deep,
That's too many.
and like they make them to order.
Yeah, so you wait.
So you wait 10 or 15 minutes for a pizza at least. And so it's an hour to get to the thing. And then you wait 10 or 15 minutes to get your pizza. I was like, nah, bro, I'm not doing it.
I'm not waiting.
I didn't eat any of the food trucks this year.
I always make a point to. Like
I wanted to,
yeah.
but
because like even like there was one that I parked outside kind of by my work. I'm like, food truck, gotta go.
yeah, that's but pizza was the only one that really interested me.
Okay.
And like I was fully prepared to spend $16 on a pizza.
A small pie.
And I just was not willing to wait in line.
No, the wait's always the worst part.
Yeah.
I mean, you just accept the fact it's going to be a little expensive because
Right.
it's food trucks right there.
Right. They have a captive audience, and it's a food truck, which are always a little bit more expensive.
Which is fine. We can live with that.
Right. It's convenience fee.
I still don't wait an hour for it.
No. Not waiting out for any food.
No, almost never. Walk into a restaurant. Yeah, it's about 15 minutes. I guess we're going to a different restaurant.
Yeah. I'll drive 20 minutes somewhere else not to wait 15 minutes to be seated. Are you kidding me? I totally will.
Yep. Unless there's something like very specific that I'm wanting. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm going to walk over there.
I do that all the time. We'll walk in. Oh, it'll be 15-minute wait. Like, nah, bro, we're not doing that.
I'll do
And
that.
20 minutes later, we're rocking into the restaurant we're going to eat at.
With a 5-minute wait.
We'd have been seated already. We probably would have had our drinks on the table. Son of a bitch.
Yep.
It was worth it, though.
Yeah. In my mind,
Yeah.
I won.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't
I-
wait in line. Like, that's what matters. I queue for no one.
Yep. Well, it's like on the interstate. As long as I'm moving, I don't care if it's further and takes longer. I got to be moving. So it's when I sit there. I'd rather drive out of the way to keep moving.
We
End up at the same spot.
we used Waze.
Wait, this is good.
Waze. I swear, Waze will take you through someone's front lawn if it'll save you 10 seconds.
It's true. As long as the cops aren't around.
Yeah.
And they know.
It's fucking out of control. So like, there was they're working on that rusting out bridge that
finally
definitely not safe.
Yeah, it's been not safe for a long time. Since 2016.
Since we started going to Gridlife.
We know.
Yeah. Everyone, that one bridge on 80, you guys know. Chicagoans know.
Everyone knows.
I think it's actually technically in Joliet.
Yes.
But they're working on that, and so it was down to one lane, and it was a mess. So Waze had us like diverted onto like side streets, and we're just driving through town.
Yep.
And like supposedly it's faster because Waze told us to, and like, all right, fine,
it
whatever.
did it to me last year.
Josh, well, so we didn't have a trailer on the way there, so it was fine.
Oh yeah.
Like, but with the stacker, you're like, well, we're committed to this because I'm not doing that Waze.
No.
But like when we went to Super Lab Battle, they had us driving through parking lots and shit. Like Waze is crazy.
It had, I guess it wasn't Waze, but like on the way to PPIR, it had us go under that bridge that Dalton probably couldn't make it under. Remember that?
Oh yeah. Yep. That's a good one.
Yep.
So anyway, what a year, dude.
It sounded like a really good one.
Yeah, track was still garbage.
That also seemed to be a theme. That it was just awful,
as it always is.
Awful
at
track
festival.
surface. Yeah.
Like it just sucked.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, if you're on social media and you're a longtime listener to this podcast, you're probably following enough people or friends with enough people. Like my feed here days later is still every other post is Gridlife related.
Without question.
So,
I'm in group chats and stuff, and I'm still learning things that people are talking about. Like things that happened that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah,
Obviously I wasn't aware of any of them, but like,
right.
You know, just like, really, that happened? Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a wild weekend. There's so many moving parts and there's so much stuff going on. Apparently, I can't remember his name now. He's somehow affiliated with Hoonigan. He's in their videos occasionally.
Okay.
And he's got his own YouTube channel. It's got like 30,000 subs. It's called the Booty Hustlers Club.
Oh, it sounds familiar. But I don't know. I'm not in
They
that
road
drifting
tripped
circle.
from California to Gridlife. They'd never been to a Gridlife event before, so they road tripped to festival. And one of the guys that I know was kind of walking him around and just giving him a show of the ropes, and he knew I'm good on a mic or whatever, you know. So he pulled me aside and they interviewed me for a little while wearing a 1010 shirt, and they asked like, oh, where can we find you on the internet? And I was like, oh. So I don't know, maybe we'll end up in their video. That'd be
cool. Great.
That'd be really cool. But it was funny because after they shut off the camera and I was just kind of talking to them a little bit about, they're like, the photographer was like, I did not come with the right lenses for this. Like, I just have a regular flat, like straight. And he's like, this is insane. He's like, we've seen the we've seen the videos, we've seen the social media posts, we've seen the pictures, the albums, we've talked to the people. But no.
Doesn't it? Even though like those hype it up and they still don't do it justice.
They're like, you guys have drifting here, you have racing here, you have the craziest cars I've ever seen in my life. They asked me like, well, what's your favorite car? And I'm like, I don't even know, dude.
Yeah, it depends on the mood and depends on what's happening.
Oh, what's the craziest car here? Like, find me a car that's not crazy. Because even the ones that don't look crazy,
they're crazy.
Are kind of crazy.
They're super overbuilt and well built. Like it's out of this world.
Sunday Cup has even gotten to the point where it's like, what are you guys doing?
You're taking
come on, bro.
This is supposed to be the fun group, and now it's the competitive group.
Yeah, shit's out of control.
Yep,
they're tickling on the sub 4 or sub 50s in those cars.
They'll get there.
They had one guy had a predictive like 50.2 or something like that on his aim.
Jeez,
which is dumb fast.
That is fast. For a fit or whatever it was.
Yeah. So it's the wildest event on the planet today. I'm convinced of it.
Yep.
Alpine
Alpine's different.
It's a festival, and like there's a lot of things going on, and it's exciting and it's crazy, and there's some aspects of it that are even more insane, but it is not the same, and it is not it's just, if you can only go to one Gridlife event and you want the experience,
it's Midwest Fest.
You have to go to Midwest Fest.
Without question.
Yeah.
Leading up to it, I was like, I accept the fact that my schedule between focusing on WRL, between what was supposed to be the Indy 500. Like I just knew that because I was supposed to be in Daytona this weekend. Like if you're listening to this on Sunday, I was supposed to be in Daytona.
Yeah, we weren't going to do a show this week,
right? And previously I was supposed to be in Indy. It's like it just life got in the way. But it's like I accepted early in the year. The festival is off the table. And like the only reason it kind of got brought back on the table is because things changed.
Right.
Then of course it got taken away. But leading up to us, I accepted I'm good. I'll miss one. I'll catch. I'll be back. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then I'm getting text messages and seeing posts. I'm like, fuck, I fucked up.
Honestly, before this weekend, I wasn't sure. My joke. All the jokes aside, my status with the live stream and with Gridlife in general was kind of in limbo. Adam is literally the hardest person in the world to get a straight answer out of. So I didn't know exactly what was going to happen. I was kind of feeling like, maybe, most of my friends had kind of backed out of, Dalton and Ryan didn't buy gold passes.
And you knew Ryan wasn't going to be there.
Right. And we weren't even really sure Dalton was going to be there because
the Ohio guys didn't come besides the Festiva guys.
Right. We weren't sure if Dalton was going to come because we weren't sure if he was going to have a car. He managed to get it on a dyno and get it tuned and actually ran really well, finished every session he went out for, set personal bests. He's in the sub 140 club. He ran a 37.
Over a 37.
Well, okay,
it wasn't
37,009 or something like that. Yeah, it's not a 36 though.
Definitely not a 36.
Had 35s on predictive on his catalyst, so he's
shaking the car.
He's got
out.
pace there.
It's good. It's real good.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm glad he's back on track. All jokes aside with him too.
I was gonna say.
I was kind of thinking to myself you know what? If I don't really make it to more than 1 or 2 Gridlifes this year, then that's just fine.
Yep.
I don't really, maybe just hanging out at home wouldn't be all that bad. And I can go and hang out at WRL races with Robbie and Booney and do this crew chief thing, which sounds fun and exciting and new and something I think I would really enjoy.
Which is true.
If I don't make it to a Gridlife event this year or I only make it to 1 or 2, then such is life. And I went to this one and I'm like,
okay.
Ryan and I are already talking about trying to figure out how to go to Audubon, which none of us were going to go to.
Yep.
And Josh is not going to it. And I was like, Ryan, we can run the dyno for sure. We don't need Josh. Fuck that guy.
What does he know?
Fuck that guy. You and I got this. And Ryan already has a hotel booked. He can back out up to 2 or 3 days ahead of time without being fined for it.
Oh, perfect.
So he already booked a hotel for us.
Yep.
And I'm like, man, I want to and I don't want to at the same time.
Right. No, I went from knowing that Topeka was probably the only one I was going to make it to. I was like, I don't really have anything else going on around at the time of PPIR. Can make a vacation out of that. So now that's back on the table.
Yeah. Katie and I, early on when Circuit Legends at Lime Rock was announced, we were like, we're going to do that for our family vacation this year because her grandparents live on the way. I'm just going to leave them there and continue on my merry way.
Yeah. Works out for everybody.
Yeah. And then we're like,
It's a long drive.
Yeah. Will be an 8 or 9 month old baby at that point. And
that's a long drive.
Yeah, it's rough. And gas is getting real dumb.
Real dumb.
I'm not even towing it. It's real dumb. I did the math on it.
Oh, dude,
it's dumb.
Don't do it.
And
unless you never want to go
Katie
anywhere.
was kind of like, I don't know if I really want to go that far. And then I'm like, I really don't want to miss that. And Dusty already bought plane tickets.
Yep.
And now Katie's like, you know what? I really want to go see my grandma. I'm like, fuck. All right, well, going to that Gridlife too then. All right, cool. That's fine. It's fun. I'll be there. That's great. I'm going to end up going to all of them.
That's okay.
I'm going to Mid-O. Most likely.
Yeah, that one's not
75% sure I'm going to Mid-O.
Yep. I would like to, for sure.
I'm going to end up going to all of them, Robbie.
That'd be fun.
Damn it.
So we got High Plains in August, so that's the next one for sure.
Yeah.
For WRL. But,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm keeping I'm actually the Z's more ready than I thought it would be. So if I do it at Topeka, great.
Yeah.
If I maybe I'll make it somewhere else, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm still tired from it.
I bet.
I'm still tired from it.
Happens. Get used to it because you're gonna keep going.
I want to go back.
To festival or just in general?
Yes.
Okay. Fair. Me too.
I can't.
I don't know what it is about PPIR. Like it's just a Roval, but I really like PPIR.
Yeah.
I like that festival.
It's a very different feel. The event is very different.
Yes.
But I enjoy the racing there too.
Yeah.
Like, and
it's good for spectating because
it's great for spectating. You can see the whole damn thing most of the time. And like the drifting there is so intense, and the fact that we can do it with the festival right there and the stage and man, it's but the partying isn't quite as crazy.
It's different, yeah.
Usually the rowdier groups from our paddocks aren't there, and GA feels less accessible because you got to go through that tunnel.
Yeah, say it's just
it feels like it's a longer
yeah.
distance, even though I don't think it actually is.
No, but it's
But
separated.
it feels
enough.
like a longer distance because they're outside of the Roval.
Yep.
And so it just has a different feel to it. But
it's a really good event.
oh, it's a really good event. There's no such thing as a bad Gridlife.
Very true. Very true.
So we almost made it the whole weekend without really any rain.
Yeah, so
We had like a couple of damp sessions, I would call them.
I saw there was some on Saturday because like Ferris went out to do like all of them went out and then came back in. The live stream was like, what are they doing? Oh, windshield wipers are on. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So which is uncharacteristic.
Yeah, but if you're going for a 121,
Right.
you're not going to do it.
No, I mean, lack of rain. That's
it always rains.
Uncharacteristic.
Yeah, it always rains.
So, friend of ours now, Wes Case, the guy who sold you your Mark 60, who ruined your life. Frankly, I mean, he introduced you to nannies.
Yeah.
So, GLTC competitor. He always comes with his wife, which I think is awesome.
Yep.
And she's like, "Oh, I really want to go to the lake, right?" And I was like, "There's a lake here." I've been to Gingerman like 9 times now. I've never once seen the lake. And Josh is like,
oh, that's right. You weren't with us when we went
Josh
over
is
there.
like, Robbie and I almost ran into the lake by accident.
Yeah. It's actually a really nice lake.
Yeah. And he gets back and I was like, so did you guys go to the lake? He's like, yeah. It's like big and blue and full of waves, just like all the rest of them, isn't it? And just giving him shit for it.
Yeah.
So, it's funny because
South Haven's a nice town.
well, Gridlife goes to these places a lot of times that aren't uninteresting. South Haven's a really nice destination place. They've got a really cool riverfront. I've looked at it on Google.
Yeah, South
They've got
Haven's
a really
nice
cool
town.
river or
lakefront,
like boardwalk area, and it looks like a really cool place to just kind of go and spend an afternoon.
Yep.
And Pikes Peak PPIR is like literally in the shadow of the most famous mountain in America.
Yep.
And it's right there in Colorado, and Road America is
Elkhart Lake is a great town.
Seems like a really cool place, and there's all these, and I never go to any of it. I go straight to the racetrack, and I don't fucking leave till the event's over, and I get in a truck and I go straight back home again.
I mean, then there's Heartland Park. Never mind.
I mean, there's some strip clubs I've heard great things about.
I don't think the word "great" is not the word you want to use there.
I mean,
great for stories.
Great for stories. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny. I go to Gridlife drags me to all these places.
Yep. And then
I'm going to go to Lime Rock, which apparently is just like one of the most picturesque and beautiful places in the world. I'm going to drive straight into that track. I'm not going to leave all fucking weekend.
and then just leave.
And I'm just going to drive straight back home again.
Yep.
It's dumb.
I know, but we don't have the vacation time to spend an extra day or two at all.
And even if I
places.
did, most of the time I just want to get back home again.
So after 3 days, it's
3 hours there, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
5 days. That's a long time.
Yeah.
When I'm gone for 5 days, I don't care what I'm doing. I'm ready to be home.
Especially sleeping on that fucking tiny little bed that Josh gave me. So, I mean, I could have slept anywhere, but I slept there anyway. So, but it was about 4 inches too short for me, and I'm not very tall.
Oh, man. Yeah,
so
that's fetal position.
Mm-hmm.
Not the best for sleeping.
I think that's it, Robbie.
Yeah, I think that's a good recap of an event I wasn't at. I want to remind everyone before we wrap up to head over to mypetrolbox.com. Get your petrol box. It's your monthly subscription box with all sorts of cool automotive stuff. Use the code TGP15 to get 15% off that first box or anything that's currently available in the store. I just had my box delivered not too long ago, and it was always fun. It's like Christmas.
Yeah.
I had... Was the Vice Grips the last one I got? Yeah, I think I had Vice Grips and some car cleaning plus stuff. I don't know. I get them every month. So I'm always like, they all kind of run together.
Right. Yeah.
That really cool Datsun shirt, or the not the Datsun, it's a Toyota 2000 GT shirt. I really like that shirt.
I remember that one.
I don't know if that was the last one or not. But yeah, but if you want to have like shirts, car care products, gloves, like tools, stuff like that shows up at your house every month. Yeah, it's like a present to yourself, or it's a perfect present for someone else. Or again, if you want cheap mechanics gloves, go to the store, use the R code, get 50% off what's already the cheapest mechanics gloves that you can get. MyPetrolBox.com. And then also I want to thank Apex Pro for being the official motorsports app of 10 Cents Podcast. If you want to...
I got to hang out with Andrew Raines this weekend.
I'm jealous.
I watched him karaoke his ass off.
He is so good.
He was our opener because he's so good.
Yeah, that sets the tone.
He kicks it off basically every event that karaoke happens at, and we kick it off with him singing "We Didn't Start the Fire." It's tradition now, Robbie.
That's fair. That's. I'm assuming that I don't have a choice.
He's so good.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's unreal how good he is at that song.
Yeah, he drove that old World Challenge RSX that JB used to own.
Yep.
Drove that this weekend.
Yeah,
that was a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, Colton Wade owns that. I can't think of what their
doing a deal with a scholarship sort of thing to help get more women into motorsports is kind of the idea behind it. I don't know why Andrew ended up in it this weekend, but
yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know this backstory, but it was cool to see that car back out there and
yep, we dynoed it.
Nice.
Yep. Got him DQ'd.
Good.
He was 5 over.
Sorry, bro.
So
cheater.
That's what I said. Got to watch that guy. He's a real cheating motherfucker.
Yeah, but
he's a pro. That
right there is a cheater.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you want to go so fast that people think you're cheating, get an Apex Pro. It will help you get faster on track. You get the app. You can use it to get data with just your phone, or if you have the units like we have, you can get all of the data, and then you can do reviews, see where you're losing time, see where you can improve, and you can be a better, faster driver. I don't know, for way better, faster than anywhere else. And this is the best value in all of data logging. That is apextrackcoach.com. Use the code 10 cents. You get a free window mount and essentially 10% off when you get the Gen 2 and a window mount. apextrackcoach.com. I think that's the show. I don't think I have anything coming up urgently.
We got a couple things to talk about next week.
Yeah. Hopefully they're good and fun things.
We'll find out.
In all reality, I don't know how much more of this bad days I can take, man.
I'm excited to talk about some of the stuff. Yeah. I want to know how it goes, though.
I want some good days. Please.
Please.
Yeah, I could use some good days. We'll catch everybody next week.